might have the right tools to basically beat any non-unburial rights plus a friend draw. We're going to see what happens. Joseph Grier starts out with a mana acceleration. It's Pilgrim. Bird.
I think with William being on the draw here, I think it might be a little better for Joseph, but we'll see.
And we got a turn 1. Is that a Gravecrawler? I'm not 100%.
It's a Gravecrawler, I believe.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, that's the F&M special.
There we go. It's a Friday Night Magic Gravecrawler. And we have a Faithless Looting from Joseph Grier.
Looks like it gets a couple lands.
What William wants to do on this next turn, almost certainly, is lay a land and then a Mortar Pod to kill that bird.
Yes. Definitely. Or he can even get his Fume Spitter or a Tragic Slip. Ooh, goodness.
And is that a Mulch or a Tracker's Instinct? I think that's...
I believe that's the Tracker's Instinct.
Yep.
Yeah, so he gets the bird into his hand. I love how he plays with his graveyard out in front, but very much like a Dredge player.
And turn 2 for William Wright. A swamp. A very, very carefully considered swamp. Attack. In for 2.
Joseph's like, ow. He's like,
now,
okay.
Even though Joseph has... Oh, what do we got here? Fume Spitter.
There he is.
Please spit on that guy. There we go. I was going to say,
birdie.
Even though Joseph has another bird in hand, just getting rid of that bird there is such a good play. And we have a third land. And we're going to see another looting,
Would
perhaps?
you say a bird in hand is worth 2 in the graveyard?
Oh! Faithless Looting is hopefully going to bury that one underneath some cards. 2 in the yard. Elish Norn to the yard, and another bird and a Pilgrim. This is actually really, really excellent for what Joseph needed there. He has enough mana to cast an Unburial Rights, and he also has an extra creature to sacrifice should an Edict effect happen. So William actually, I think, in a lot of trouble right now.
I
in
agree.
for 2.
If Joseph lands the Unburial Rights, then he's like, "Sup, Elish Norn?" And William's, I think he's pretty much dead if he gets a...
Well, I mean, Elish Norn can be killed by a Tragic Slip. I mean, so all he has to do is have something die, which is not difficult with Elish Norn out there.
That's true.
Geth's Verdict. And sure, that works. Goodbye, Avacyn's Pilgrim. 1 damage from the Geth's Verdict.
Well, I mean, it looks like Joseph only had 1 card in hand, so I mean, he really just had to have it. Oh, I didn't see it was in his graveyard.
And what does he get there? Is that
a
Worm Coil?
Engine.
A hard card for a black deck to deal with.
I guess he probably went for the Worm Coil Engine first in case he had another Geth's Verdict, so he could just sack that and get 2 worms, and then maybe he's got another Unburial Rights in hand, he can toss out the Elish Norn.
Giralf's Messenger coming in, smacking...
I really like that card.
It's pretty cool.
I like it a lot.
13 for Joseph Grier, but that's going to change very quickly.
Yeah, the way he's drawing his cards, he's feeling pretty confident right now. Of course I would.
And a second Unburial Rights. Gonna see an Elish Norn here, I bet. Elish Norn wipes the table.
She is.
Dead zombies galore. Take damage from my messenger.
The Giant players preparing for round 2 have been posted.
And then
Giant players preparing
in for 8. Undoing all of the damage William has been able to put together so far.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult road for William right now. He's facing down a Worm Coil Engine and Elish Norn, and all he's got is a 1/1 Giralf's Messenger.
You know, if that messenger wants to be doing more work than he is, but it's not looking so good for him right now. William down to 12.
Yeah, I think you're right. If he had been able to get rid of those early mana accelerators, I think he would have been in a lot better shape this game.
Yeah, well, and then the Verdict would be around to be able to take care of whatever gets reanimated. I mean, pretty much Joseph is in a position where he's almost in a candy from a baby style situation.
Yeah.
Just, what you got? I'm going to get you.
And Sin's in with team. And I think William's just trying to figure out exactly how to get out of this situation, but
I don't think that there is a way out unless William has a tragic slip in hand. And then what he would need to do is lay some random creature, tragic slip the Elishnorn, and then find other cards to follow up with.
yeah. And he scoops him up.
There we
tragic
go.
slip.
To the next game.
Yes.
So William Wright here, I think he's almost certainly going to bring in 4 Vapor Snag. Vapor Snag very good against cheated into play creatures. I mean, it's all great if you can get a discount on them with your Unburial Rights, but actually casting them takes more work.
Yeah.
And
That's going to be a definite card.
And then Surgical Extraction, always good against reanimation style decks. A lot of people bring in Surgical Extraction against other decks. I only really like it right now in Standard against dedicated reanimating decks. And I see some people bring it in black-blue control decks against other control decks. Not a fan of that unless you happen to be really good and essentially get a Cabal Therapy style effect by naming a card, or sorry, by hitting a card that is in their hand as well.
Yeah, that's definitely. Well,
What do we got on the other side of the table?
Joseph he's got a Thrun, a Purify the Grave, a Worm Coil Engine, Jin Gataxius, 4 Ancient Grudge, 2 Memories Journey, and 3 Ray of Revelation. So,
I mean, I guess I kind of like here, Worm Coil is good against black.
yes, most definitely. I don't really. I mean, I really think he's kind of positioned pretty well if as long as, you know, William doesn't mess with his little mana dorks, but
I think that the most likely thing we're going to see is just 2 Worm Coil coming on in, and that's probably close to about it.
yeah. I think trying to figure out what he might cut though. Like I could see him cutting maybe 2 of his Lingering Souls. I think that card's not fantastic in this matchup. I think he really just wants to ramp out as fast as he can and you know, just get his fatties on board. And
I might consider reducing the Inferno Titans down. An Inferno Titan, it's going to do a lot of work, but it can just die potentially. And I think a Worm does the same kind of work, but if it gets killed, it has some friends that it brings back. So
I don't know. I really like Inferno Titan against like aggro decks.
I really do too, but I think that it might be worse than Worm Coil Engine in this situation. I'm not 100% sure of that, by the way. I'm just...
Yeah.
Neither of them are very big fans of Vapor Snag, but Inferno Titan is definitely better against Vapor Snag. It does some work coming into play, and then you can do it again the next turn.
Yeah.
Whereas a Worm Coil just bounces.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely... I think Inferno Titan is strong against these creatures, but I feel like you want to keep all of your mana. I like the Lingering Souls as a way to protect against Edict effects from Verdict and Liliana. And that's kind of essentially where I like pretty much all of the cards. And so it comes down to it that I think Worm Coil might do a job that the Inferno Titan does, but be better in certain ways.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly see your point. I think that as far as the Lingering Souls goes, like, I don't think he wants to see all 4. I think that he would much rather just have 2 and go with the having, you know, 4 Worm Coils and 2 Inferno Titans just to have, you know, max out on his, like, you know, big dudes. But I mean, I can see it going either way. It just kind of just depends on what route he wants to take. I mean, maybe being on the draw is a lot safer to take out the Inferno Titans and go with the Worm Coil Engine. But I think on the play, I think it would be better if he took out the Lingering Souls and went with his with the other way around. I think.
We'll have to see what ends up happening. Unfortunately, one of the things we don't actually have a, what do I want to call it, a shuffle cam, so we can't check to see how he sideboarded. And also, because there's so much redundancy with this, it's likely that unless we don't see any Inferno Titans in his deck, if he shaves somewhere else, we won't know what happens.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he does. I think being on the draw gives him a little bit more of a disadvantage. Because I mean, William could just go kill your bird, kill this, and I mean, and Joseph's mana base is kind of crazy, but I mean, most of these decks kind of are, but I mean, he could get colors, could get. What am I trying to say? Goodness gracious. He could get short on certain colors, so he could have a hard time with that. Luckily, he's got the mulch and the looting to kind of help him get there.
Right.
But I mean, when you play decks like this, sometimes it happens, and I don't want to wish that on Joseph, of course.
Right.
But
For William will have the surgical extractions. Will probably have Vapor Snag, and I think the card that he ends up cutting is Skarsdog High Priest. I don't think this is the kind of matchup where he wants to be sitting around waiting for something to die, and it's a 1/2 unless it's activating its ability, and to activate that ability it does have to take 3 creatures not into combat.
Yeah, I think he's probably gonna take those out for the Vapor Snags. But
And that leaves him with 3 other cards to try to find room for. The question is what cards. I like most of his other cards here. I even think Diregraph Captain is pretty good. Okay, I think that we are now post-shuffle.
All right.
William Wright on the play.
And they're studying their hands. And looks like William's kind of shuffling around to. He might be having to face down a pretty hard decision. Oh, no turn 1 play. But Joseph doesn't have a mana accelerator either, so
Looting for Grier.
yeah. It looked like William kind of agonized over his keep, but maybe he was worried about not keeping a hand with a 1-drop, but
His 1-drops are not particularly powerful except for in terms of damaging, except for the Diregraph Ghoul. I mean, the Gravecrawler is also damaging. I'll rescind that. There are several things he can do.
so maybe he did keep a bunch of 1-drops, but they were Gravecrawlers. Oh, and 1 land, oh no. So there's 1 Lingering Souls and a Wormcoil Engine. And check out the sweet StarCityGames.com tokens. I really like the spirits. The new soldiers are my favorite.
Who did that?
That was, I don't believe that was Treadway. It was the other artist that we got, and I am suddenly blanking on her name right now.
No worries. In for 2. Is it Hannah?
No, I don't believe her name was Hannah. I want to say it was Rachel. Oh, I feel terrible. I don't know this.
Fume Spitter on the table and a Diregraph Ghoul.
Oh, he had 1-drops. He just needed those lands come into play untapped. And looks like
3 mana now for Joseph Grier.
and he's going to mulch. So Lingering Souls, Elishnorn, Mulch, and Copperline Gorge.
Gets a land out of it.
Fans out his graveyard. I think I saw an Unburial Rights in his hand.
Faithless Looting.
He's looking. Yep, there's the Unburial Rights, so discards Tracker's Instincts. And Unburial Rights. Oof.
William draws.
Slowly
I think
untaps.
William has a surgical extraction in his hand. Third land.
Finally getting lands in there.
He would love to see a Diregraph Captain right now.
Yeah.
That would make his clock pretty big. Everybody comes on in. Diregraph Ghoul, Gravecrawler, Fume Spitter.
And Joseph thinks.
Does Joseph only have 3 land in play right now?
Looks like it. I think
Okay.
he's got a forest in hand though.
Okay. We see a single block from a spirit on it looked like the Fume Spitter? Or it was on the Gravecrawler?
So he takes 3, but he's probably feeling pretty confident right now.
Well, I mean, if he has a surgical extraction, he's doing pretty good. Liliana comes down. It looks like Liliana is going to hit a discard for both sides. It's a Geth's verdict on the one side.
Ah, Kristen Plesko is the artist that did the spirit token art. Really good stuff. She did the spirit and the soldier. And our new zombies too, I think.
And it looks like he's got the unburial rights for what? Is that going to be a worm coil?
I believe so.
Surgical extraction. In response,
Yep. And
hits the worm coil. Let me see your hand. What you got in there?
Hey, we'll see how many worm coil engines he sighted in.
No, we get an answer.
So he's got 2 lands, Tracker's Instinct, and a bird. William gets some paper to write that down. Always good for him.
I like writing down notes as best I can. One thing to remember when you make notes during a match, you are still playing a game of Magic. So you are not allowed to just take your time and write down every card for 12 minutes. No. Like, that's not how the card works. You don't get to put the pause button on that much.
It's okay to write down a few details, but...
It's even okay if you are a speed writer or you got really excellent shorthand skills. It is okay to write down the whole deck. You just can't take a lot of time to do it. You've got to maintain the pace of the play for the match. That's just how it works. There's one worm coil engine from the board.
Nope.
There's an earthquake and 2 worm coil engines from the board.
All right.
I'm actually not sure how I feel about saving the surgical extraction for that long. I almost want to take the unburial rights just to get that out of there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that Joseph is doing is he's going to try to cheat cards into play, and if he still has unburial rights in his deck, he can still do that.
Yeah.
And now we see, I believe, a discard from Liliana.
Ooh,
Nope, he's
Diagraph
casting.
Captain.
Diagraph Captain, pretty good card. And the Diagraph Captain does not get to attack yet. Almost, but not quite. Fume Spitter is not a zombie. It is a horror, so it's still a 1/1. Diagraph Ghoul is a zombie. So that's a 3/3. And no activation of the Liliana? Is that correct?
I believe so. He might not want to discard that last card in his hand, so and probably doesn't want Joseph to be able to discard any cards either. And I think he'd rather save his Fume Spitter for the Spirit token instead of Liliana.
We're going to see a Mulch or a Tracker's Instinct, perhaps?
Tracker's Instinct.
Bird. Elishnorn. What do you want to take? He does some thinking.
I think if I were Joseph, I would go with the bird. I think that's...
He takes the Elishnorn. He's going to be able to cast that in 2 turns if he can find the color for it. And as you said, his graveyard starts stretching across the play space, much like many people do that play Dredge. Oh, look at that. Ooh. What is Joseph doing?
That is a nasty graveyard when you're playing against a reanimator guy.
Casts another bird. This threatens the Elishnorn next turn. On William Wright's side of the table, we have a Diagraph Captain, a Fume Spitter, a Diagraph Ghoul, and a Liliana. We see a Phantasmal image on the Diagraph Captain. Pretty good. Double pump to all of the good kids in the world. A Gravecrawler comes out from the graveyard.
Back from the grave.
Whoa.
Evil.
And it looks like we're going to get a +1 from William there. Loses a land we knew about earlier. In comes the Diagraph Captain, the Fume Spitter, and a Diagraph Ghoul.
He's trying to go aggro.
Captain's a 3/3, Ghoul is a 4/4, and Fume Spitter is a 1/1.
Well, it's pretty good that he.
Take 4.
It's pretty good that he Phantasmal imaged his captain, so now his board won't necessarily sweep to Elishnorn.
And if Fume Spitter kills the bird,
So
Liliana hanging back to kill any major creature that comes out. Lingering Souls, I believe, is still in the yard, so that can help him have some fodder. But what he needs is to get 2 more mana, 1 more mana, to be able to cast Elishnorn. He does not have it.
nope. Game 3. That was quite exciting. And Joseph looked like he was doing pretty well there, and then that surgical extraction really helped William out a lot. So.
Right. Oh, look at that. William lets out a deep breath. Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah. Whew, I would be relieved too. I would not want to be staring down that graveyard against a Reanimator deck.
Okay, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan, and I have Callie Anderson in the booth.
Hi, everyone.
Now, round 7, we've got Black-Blue Zombies versus the Fritz deck, and Fritz short for Pomme Fritz. This is kind of a largely attributed to some of the French players, a reanimation deck running Mulch and Tracker's Instinct, and one of the things it does that a lot of the other decks that are like this don't do is it just, I will say, fairly casts some of its reanimation targets off of birds and pilgrims and elves. It's just, I accelerate and cast my creature. It also has a huge amount of flashback cards and the ability to use on burial rights. But one of the hallmarks of this deck is the fair casting of its reanimation targets.
Yeah, it's a super cool deck. I like it a lot. But
William Wright has a deck very reminiscent of Jasper Johnson Epstein's deck from Pro Tour this last 2 weeks ago. And of course, Jasper, I believe, went, I want to say 7-3 in Constructed, but I'm not 100% sure.
well, I know our good friend director Jeremy Knoll is at Grand Prix Baltimore this weekend, rocking the Blue-Black Zombies. So, oh no, he's out of the main. Oh, poor Jeremy. Oh well. Can't win them all, I guess. But he sure can direct them all, that's for sure. Oh, we love you too, Jesse. Anyway, so they're shuffling up for game 3. It's going to be probably a little bit better for Joseph since he's on the plate, but if William can stop his mana dudes and take out his Unburial Rights or his Reanimator targets, then he should be in fine shape, much like last game. So
I think this is basically William's game to lose. And what I mean by that is he's got so many ways that he directly attacks Joseph's plan. As long as William's deck is functioning, he will beat Joseph's deck if Joseph's deck is functioning. Okay, and that's the mini.
Takes a slip.
And what are we going to see here? A second mana with Mulch. Mulch shows land, shows Inferno Titan, shows land, shows land. Ooh, a 3-for-1.
Ooh, very nice. That's the cool thing about Mulch is that it definitely gets you the lands that you need.
Let's see how many cards he has. Does he have 8 or does he have 7? Might have to discard.
Can't quite tell.
Captain.
Ooh, 2 grave crawlers. Those icky little things. And he's got lingering souls for him though.
Lingering souls.
They just never go away. They just hang out and linger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, his hand size was just fine.
Now play that Diagraph Captain. There he is.
Boom. 3-2, 3-2.
All your beats belong to William Wright.
Okay.
He's pretty aggressive right now. Joseph doesn't have the mana to hard cast Unburial Rights. Plays a tapped Black Cleaves Cliffs and
Lingering
flashes back.
souls. He's just using this right now just to buy time.
Yeah.
Now, he has the Inferno Titan there, so he clearly didn't do what either of us thought he might do, because he has Inferno Titan and he has all four Wormcoil engines, so...
Well,
and he has Lingering Souls as well.
Well, I thought he only should take out 2 Lingering Souls.
Right,
so
right, he still might have it.
Yeah.
Phantasmal Image on the Captain, I'm going to be willing to bet.
Be aggressive.
That's
Boom,
an
boom.
attack for, it looks like 11 damage. He goes chump chump, take 3.
Let's see, and then...
With 2 captains out, one of the awesome things about Captain is it punishes you for even killing a captain, or not a captain, pardon me, for killing another zombie.
Yeah.
So, if, let's pretend that Joseph were to kill the table, he would take a lot of damage for the privilege of doing it.
And does
Unburial
he have the surgical
rights.
for the win?
Oh,
Yes, he does.
Doctor. Take
Wow.
that, Inferno Titan. And
And
there's an
another in
Inferno on
hand.
hand.
Ooh.
Oh, that might be all she wrote.
Yeah, I think so, because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So he's got 18 damage coming next turn, so if I counted that correctly, so
That's how I count it.
looks like William's going to be taking this one down. Surgical extraction. Pretty good. I think this one of the problems with decks like this, like with the graveyard-based strategies, is that there are so many hate cards that can just destroy you.
I've played against this deck 2 times online with a white-blue control deck. I don't even have any hate cards, and I haven't lost to this deck yet. And I think that even without hate cards, if you just have conventional strategies like, you know, for example, having cards that matter and having some counterspells, you can push through even with that. Now, I would say me beating that deck with a conventional strategy that doesn't involve graveyard hate, that's not usual, because he's going to grind me out most games. He's going to basically have so much flashback he'll get me. But I think there's something to be said there about, you know, being in a position where you can be attacked on normal, straightforward angles. Okay, surgical extractions in the yard. Joseph is virtually dead. All he has to do here, William just has to tap his creatures.
He has to draw a card and then tap his creatures.
4, 8, 12, 15, 18. Maybe he's going to go for overkill. Maybe he's going to go for like
another
diagraph
captain or phantasmal image captain.
Yeah, so that would be like another 5 damage. He could get him to -6 instead of -1.
And red zone.
Okay, he's thinking. Maybe there's a gut shot or, you know, a card that he has already seen his opponent's hand, so doesn't exist.
And there's
There
a
we go.
handshake. William takes it
Okay.
down.
That was a very ponderous kill there.
Yeah. Well, he probably wanted to make sure he had the math just right.
Right.
I mean, I know myself, I'm not the best person at math, so I would definitely like count it up at least 3 times
Yep.
if I was about to attack William.
Math is
there,
hard.
so.
Math is hard. It's like, oh my god, I knocked you to 1 and not -1.
Yeah, that was big